What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher to walk you through two Game 6s in the last two remaining series in the first round. One, a home team trying to stay alive in the Orlando Magic, and one, a home team trying to close things out in the Dallas Mavericks. With me to talk through the injury situations of these two games, as always, is Mike Gallagher from a new undisclosed location. Mike, a nice new backdrop today. How are you doing?
Yeah, we're in Dallas today. Got the Dallas skyline background here. We are big Mavericks fans. Need it. You'd have we'd be sweeping all the series bets. You'd have one more bet than I do. So this is a big day. We got some 1.5 Dallas lines. So yeah, we're rooting for him here. Excited for this fun little slate. Hopefully, we'll see if the Cavs can go. Big Q tags here. 3 starters have Q tags today. 2 of them look closer to doubtful. So it should be some pretty good information on the show today.
Yeah, the accounts are flush after the first round and already leaning into the second round. I've already gotten some bets down as well. We'll talk through those more on other content forums in the next week. But let's get to the games. Let's look at the injuries here. Let's start with Cleveland and Orlando. On the Cleveland side of things, Jarrett Allen still questionable with this right rib contusion. Did not practice yesterday. Was ruled out fairly early. Was said to be a game time decision, but was ruled out fairly early in Game 5. What are your expectations on his availability for Game 6 tonight?
Yeah, not good. He's having breathing issues. His core is all kind of messed up. Bickerstaff said he's going to travel, which that made me perk up when I heard that. You mentioned not practicing. Wasn't close last time. This isn't good. It's kind of sounding closer to doubtful. Maybe he tries to give it a whirl and kind of go the pain management situation here. But pretty legit injury here. Don't have much to go besides what was mentioned there. We saw Isaac Okoro start the last game and didn't do great. Powell kept shooting over the top of him, struggled a little bit, and then meanwhile we saw Marcus Morris play great. And I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Morris starts. That way they could do the Marcus Morris kind of plays center, guards Wendell, and then you could still keep Mobley on Powell to kind of cool him off. So clearly Marcus Morris would benefit. We think Marcus Morris is getting rotation minutes regardless. He has leapfrogged George Niang. Obviously, Evan Mobley would be playing much more rim protection. The rebounding stuff would get better. And then, Max Strus, just want to mention him. He finally showed up. Had played quite poorly in the first 4 games of the series, but he was rolling. So, it'd be pretty tight. They'd have the starting 5, whether it's Okoro or Morris, the other one on the bench. Tristan Thompson would fill in, and then Karis LeVert, quite disappointing in the last game. And then we'll see if we get Sam Merrill. They might just kind of run an 8 if they didn't have Allen today.
Yeah, I'm wondering if this injury is more of a rib fracture than a rib contusion based on the description of some of the symptoms and based on the response here. It seems unusual to me to have a contusion, basically a bruise, keeping you fully out of practice. It seems to me like something that would be like flak jacket type situation, and you just try to play with something like that on, like a little extra padding and support. The difficulty breathing to me screams more like rib fracture, but I don't know if I don't think they'd get fined if they were misleading with what the actual injury here is. Did you have any thoughts on that? Because the rib contusion it seems weird with the way the symptoms and the quotes have been around this injury. You're muted, I believe.
Yep. I was muted. My bad. Cracked open my LaCroix. I muted myself. He had he didn't really talk about the rib. He kept talking about his core. So I'm not sure if it's rib cartilage, maybe possibly, or whatever it is, but not like a puncture, kind of thing. But if you ever hurt your ribs and you breathe heavy and you feel it, I think that's kind of what he was saying. They were talking about Jarrett Allen for the people in chat. He's got a rib contusion question. Well, it's perhaps the biggest Q tag. I would say the biggest Q tag on the slate today. So but I don't know. He might try, but really everything going into it, the lack of warm ups, the quotes, not practicing, it's all lining up to not play. So would be tough. But they played great. Should also note. Their last game, they got a win. They scored 100 points. They had their most transition points. They had their most catch and shoot attempts. They played a much more sustainable and productive offense. And this has been a big story we've talked about for a long time about the Cavs closing small. We've seen them routinely close with one big. So they're kind of playing this they're kind of okay. They're going to give up some defense, a lot of it, but their shot profile is going to look significantly better.
Yeah. All right. Orlando side of things, they also have a starter listed questionable here. It's Gary Harris with a right hamstring strain. What are your expectations on Gary Harris's availability tonight?
Yeah, not great. He is routinely pulling his hamstrings. Did do some stuff, but pretty limited from what I could gather. Kind of did like just shooting. And again, hamstrings are usually sit out. I think if it was a regular season, he'd for sure be out. But he might give. We've seen him one time return from a hamstring a little bit faster than I thought, so I think he might give it a go. But I kind of lean a little bit doubtful. And then we saw the last game. We saw actually it was Jonathan Isaac who benefited minutes wise. They played jumbo. They put Isaac on ball a bunch. Picked up Darius Garland a ton. So I don't think he would start though. I think they would start Marco Fultz. Put him in the starting lineup. We see Marco Fultz start in previous iterations, kind of down the stretch later. Get a little bit more size. I think he just kind of fits a little bit better. Playing a little bit better too, I should note. So I think he would start. Obviously, that would help a lot of minutes here. I think Isaac would probably still be a good bet to close in that big lineup there. So and then really everyone benefits. Like Suggs benefits. If you're playing Isaac is more of like almost like a three, then you're going to be able to fill more minutes with Mo Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr. Those guys, those center minutes kind of get freed up a little bit. So really, the whole front court kind of benefits if it's weird. Like Gary Harris is a two. We're talking about front court guys benefiting besides Fultz. So I think they would just play pretty big.
And I was going to highlight that this is the second time in this series that they've had this opportunity. I'm not sure if it was Gary Harris shooting the ball poorly or foul trouble, but there was a first half, second half rotation earlier in the series where Gary Harris was kind of left out of the rotation and they ended up kind of closing really, really big. I'm not sure if it was game one or two. But I noticed it, and it was one of the things that caught my eye. Was like, oh, they're going to close. They're just viewing it like get our best players on the floor, not like positionally, because they feel like they have enough positional flexibility with the ball handling from Paolo and Franz. That was against the bigger Cleveland lineups, but we saw them opt for that again here in Game 5 against smaller Cleveland lineups without Jared Allen. So I think they've shown now twice that they intend to play more of the bigs than the guards in these situations without Gary Harris. And it's not just like a one game sample that we're kind of reacting to here. I wanted to note that it might have even been that game against Milwaukee before the playoffs. I'm trying to think. I know there was a game that it really caught my eye that like, oh, Gary Harris is getting de-emphasized and they're going really big as a result. And then they did it again, obviously, when Gary Harris had the hamstring injury here. So certainly something to watch as it opens up more big minutes. Also, potentially opens up the ability for Orlando to be more dominant on the glass, which is what we saw them do in the first two games of the series in Orlando. They're really, really good on the glass, and that really kind of was able to help control things from their perspective in this one and get the 2 home wins. This series, as a reminder to those who are following, has not started yet because in the playoffs you need to start a series with a road win. Has not started yet. All right, let's go to Clippers and Dallas. On the Clippers side, Kawhi Leonard already ruled out for Game 6. With that right knee inflammation. Terence Mann listed questionable here with a right lower leg contusion. Terence Mann's had a really integral and big responsibility in the series defensively on Luka Doncic. What are your expectations for Terence Mann's availability tonight?
I feel pretty good he's going to play. I was at shoot around, didn't really see anything limited from the videos that were popping around. So I feel pretty good he's going to play. If not, I think they would just go to Norm Powell, which would put much more pressure defensively on really everyone. I don't think they're going to ask Norm to guard. Obviously, I think Amir Coffey would switch off Kyrie and then guard Luka. And then they'd put Paul George on Kyrie, which they were kind of doing when they had Hawaii in the lineup. So yeah, that's kind of the breakdown. But again, I feel pretty good he would play. If he didn't play, that would be huge. A, for our Mavs bets, and B, I'd be hitting it again. And just, I think they'd cover. Like Terence Mann's been very, very important for defense and structure. And as we've seen, he's scoring a little bit. We've been enjoying the man overs that have been very nice on our little hot streak here. But I'm pretty confident he's going to play.
All right. And then on the Dallas side of things, Tim Hardaway Jr. and Omax Prosper both listed out here with ankle sprains. That's been the case for the last few games. So no real changes from an injury perspective, but any rotation notes that you're looking forward to tonight?
Yeah, I should just note that Tim Hardaway Jr. aggravated his ankle in a practice session. So he hurt it in the game. It didn't look like terrible. They ruled him out, and then he hurt it again. So now he's had a setback, and he's out, probably missing more time here. So, yeah, not much to say. Like, obviously, Luka, he had the illness. He's been dealing with that for a couple of weeks. Had his first really big game. The knee thing is still bothering him. We see him limp kind of routinely, grimacing through the game. but played awesome. Really no surprise. First bad Kyrie game. Minutes were pretty much the way we expected. Big blowout here. PJ has been pretty secure for the most part. Curious to see how they handle the center minutes. The Maxi Kleber minutes have been quite good. That helps when you shoot 5-7 from 3. But the big thing for their defense was they were really good at limiting catch and shoot stuff. They cut that stuff way down in Game 5. So their switch heavier scheme that they were implementing more in second half of Game 4, they really leaned on that, and it really cut off a lot of clean looks, like unguarded stuff. Their rim defense has been awesome. I think the Clippers are only shooting like 44% at the rim in this series. So yeah, the Mavericks defense has been awesome. Hoping they win. Sorry to any Clippers fans out there or Clippers backers. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, we're big Mavs fans tonight.
Yeah, we are leveraged on the Mavs. All right, that will do it for this edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. We will be back on Monday with another edition of the show, breaking into what's going to be some one game slates, some 2 game slates as we get into the second round here, and the NBA gets kind of the schedule sorted out. But we will be here any day that there is basketball. The shows obviously will just be dictated by the length of the shows will be dictated by how much we got to talk about. But we'll be back again on Monday. As always, if you enjoy the content that we're putting out here, the best way to support us is to subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can hit the bell and get notifications whenever we go live, but help us reach our goal of getting to 5,000 subscribers by the end of the NBA calendar season. By subscribing to this channel, you really help us and help push this content out there for us to be able to take advantage of. Also, if you're interested in any of our premium content, you can find myself and Mike Gallagher behind the paywall today at 5 o'clock Eastern, breaking down this 2 game slate, talking about the good chalk, the bad chalk, the contrarian plays, the rotation changes and angles to potentially get into, and of course the flag plants. You can also find any of our additional product information behind the paywall at establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA. More details on our premium product offerings, both on the DFS side and the prop side. Another sweep last night on the prop side going 4-0. We've been really locked in the playoffs, so really proud of the work.
Lost your audio. Nope. I'll take us out of here. So yeah, we've been on the prop streets.
Okay.
There, you're back now.
All right. I probably lagged is probably the issue for whatever reason, but we'll get through this close and move out. As always, the best way to support this show and help keep the content free for interesting, keeping it free, is by smashing that like button and feeding an algorithm that helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis you need each and every day to set your lineups and make your spread bets and your prop bets. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. Have a great weekend.